Hi, welcome to the Spiritual Connection Show. I'm your host, Katie Augustyn. So I'm a transformation coach, I'm an energy healer, I'm a shamanic practitioner, and I'm the spiritual head of Transformation Center CT, which is based in Westport, Connecticut. So at the center, we do a variety of things. We have workshops, we have trainings, we have retreats. We also have individual sessions for clients for coaching and healing. So whatever you need, you're welcome to come to the Transformation Center. We also have a monthly shamanic clinic now. It's the second Tuesday of each month. So look for that on our website. It's a community event where anyone is welcome, and you can just come and try it out for about half an hour to see what the shamanic practice is all about. We also have satsang once a month, generally the third or fourth Wednesday of the month. And that's just a beautiful evening where we do some meditation, some chanting. It's an opportunity to just spend time with yourself, and we welcome you to come to that as well. So the Spiritual Connection Show is all about connection. It's about connecting with each other as well as connecting more fully with our own spiritual selves. And as you know, I have a different guest each week, and so they're here for you to learn from them about their spiritual journey and maybe how it can help you on yours. So thank you for being here tonight. And my guest tonight is Michelle Quigley. Welcome to the show, Michelle.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so happy you could be here. It's funny because I think you were one of the first people I met when I started the show, and I wanted you to be on, and there was a lot of reasons at the time it didn't work out.
Yes.
So we finally got
it.
We
did
it. So I'm just going to read a little bit about you for our audience because they don't really know you, okay?
Sure.
So Michelle is a licensed massage therapist specializing in orthopedic massage techniques. And she's a registered biodynamic craniosacral therapist, which we're going to find all about in a few minutes. And she also teaches Sheng-Jen meditation, which I want to hear more about too. And it's a form of Qigong.
Right.
Yeah, so that sounds really interesting. And with these three modalities, Michelle can tailor a session to meet any client's need on any given day. And how perfect is that?
It's great.
And so you intuitively go there how do you know what they need?
Well, people generally come for a reason, and they either want massage or they want craniosacral. And then we talk. I always make sure I allow time to talk and meet people and help them feel safe and find that connection.
Yes.
And then, it depends then on what type of massage they get, what they're looking for, what they need emotionally, physically, spiritually. And then I can just adjust.
You can meet all of that.
Yep. And you can do it in the middle of a session. It's just great. So I've got
so you really hear your clients.
Yes.
You listen and you hear them.
Yeah.
So I know we're going to get into the details about everything that you do, but the question I really like to start with is first, can you tell us about your spiritual journey and how you got to where you are?
Sure.
Super.
I can actually pinpoint and still see it in my memory the day my life went like this.
Really?
Yeah, so I was in England. I was a stay-at-home mum, so taking care of the kids, and they went to school, and I was like, what am I going to do? I didn't want to go back into the finance industry.
Oh, was that your background, was in finance?
Yeah, so I just didn't know what to do. And I was having a little kind of emotional trouble, and so I was seeing a therapist, and she said to me, Michelle, you're completely drained, go get a massage. And I was, the place I'd normally go to, because I was very kind of timid and quiet in England.
No.
The place I normally went to was, for stuff like that, was fully booked. I was like, oh well, not going to happen. And then I was walking along the high street with my son in a stroller, and you have to know what I was like then. There was this shop front of, like a massage and, waxing and all that kind of thing. And I would never go in a place like that without someone telling me what it was like, what I could expect. Mm-hmm. But I walked past it and something made me turn around and go in.
Seriously.
And it's that force. So I'm a firm believer that the universe puts situations there for us, but we have the free will to choose.
It's a good way of describing
right.
it. Yeah.
So, I could have heard that nudge and just because of my fear or anxiety, whatever it was. Mm-hmm. So I went in and I met this woman and she gave me a massage and said, "Have you ever heard of Reiki?" I was like, "No." So she said, "Would you like me to do some Reiki on you while I'm doing the massage?" And I was like, "Sure." Didn't really feel much. It's like, but I saw her a few times. It turns out she lived around the corner from me.
Oh, man.
And so I started having Reiki treatments with her. And that to me was like the gateway opening.
Okay.
And it just kind of snowballed from there. I took classes with her. I did my level 1 and 2. Yeah. Still wasn't really sure what it was and what am I feeling? I don't know. Can I do this? All that self-doubt. Mm-hmm. But I just kept pushing myself. And one day, I don't know what happened, just an idea popped into my head, massage. I was like, oh, okay. So I started looking for it online. And in England, you don't have to do the training like you have to here. Mm-hmm. So I did this 2-week hands-on class and then started, advertising myself. At home visits, and it was okay. I really enjoyed it, but I didn't quite have the confidence, which I know now comes from 2 years of education, that you get here. So we got the call to move here in 2005, and it was like kind of a relief. Oh, I don't have to do that now. But I moved here with that intention of saying yes to everything, even if it scared me.
Wow, well that was a big shift for you.
It was a big shift, and it started when I went and got a massage from someone, told him what I'd done, and he said, "Oh, you should give me a massage." And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. Okay. So I did, and he's like, "Okay, you got to go to school, get licensed." So
because he saw that you had a gift for it, really.
Yeah. So that was it, and I just love learning. I just love being in the classroom.
Yeah.
It's
what is the training like for to be a massage therapist?
Well, it depends what kind of coursework you do. Mm-hmm. The class I was in was a clinical massage, which enabled you to get 1,000 hours in order to take the New York licensure exam.
Okay.
Because the Connecticut license exam is only 500 hours. And being so close to New York, I didn't.
Have both, right?
If I wanted to work over the border, I'd have to.
I see.
Have the New York license. So, and it was like I just wanted to do everything that was going to make me the best.
I'm
going to be the best. Yeah. Uh-huh. So, and then it was while I was in massage school, I met a naturopathic doctor who taught Shenzhen meditation, and he said, "Oh, you're training to be a massage therapist, come to my class, it will make you a better therapist." So off I went to the class.
You were still saying yes?
Yes, still saying yes. And, it was a good couple of years before I really started to realise the benefits of that, which I'll come to later.
Okay. We'll stick with the massage for now.
So that kind of got me going, and then it's just unfolded in all directions from there on in.
So how did you end up specializing in the orthopedic massage, and how is that different from what I get massage, I guess?
Right. So my friend Maricel, who I went to school with, she told me she was doing a CEU class for extra credits, and I was like, oh, I'll come, and because I hadn't done any. And we met this guy, this teacher, James Waslaski, and he teaches his techniques, orthopedic massage, and basically we assess and look at structure. We watch people walking in, and you can just see where people are imbalanced. The shoulder might be up. rolled in. You know, you can just see how people stand, even their emotions come out in their posture. So if your posture is a little off, it can affect your emotions. So
and vice versa.
Yeah, and vice versa. So you can really help people on
Lots of
many levels, yes. So basically it's about rebalancing joints. So lengthening the short tight muscles, usually at the front, and kind of
sit up straight.
reigniting the muscles at the back, the glutes and the rhomboids particularly, that pull these shoulders back. They're weak and long, so we get those fired up, and it's about bringing muscles back to their normal resting length. And also determining if there's any adhesions within the joint capsule, and helping that release. But all the work is pain-free. You don't need to be yanked about and pulled and pushed, because that causes contraction in the body, and people need to feel safe, and they can let go and feel that they can trust you. So all of that, it comes into it as well. It's not just the techniques. It's about reading the body at a very subtle level, which is where the craniosacral training helps in this aspect of the work, because it can be very gentle at times. But
wow,
well,
that sounds great, because I've had what I would consider, well, it's like called sports massage, sports therapy, or something. And it is painful. I mean, not like painful to the point of ow, but it's like
it doesn't need to be that way.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good to know.
so,
okay, I'm going to have to come try this out.
But also, in the other techniques I use cupping, which is very silicone cups, very gentle. It's not the cupping where you leave it on and you get the big purple blotches. You kind of lift the tissue and move it, and it really just kind of frees up all the adhesions within the tissue that massaging it can't touch in that way.
I see.
So we're pulling away and separating the tissue, and it's very good for nerve issues. I've had a couple of people with numb toes, and I've done the cupping on the front of the foot and up the front of the shin where the nerve travels, and it's like, oh wow, I feel them again. It's like, it's great.
Effective.
It's really great. Yeah.
So you do that as part of the massage. It's just part of it. It's not a separate session.
No, just incorporate it.
It's incorporated
in when it's needed.
Great.
Yeah.
And then how did you get into the craniosacral?
So
did that happen later?
That happened while I heard about that during massage school.
Okay.
And how amazing that this therapy could be so gentle yet so profound. And I couldn't take any classes until I graduated massage school, because you need a license to touch someone.
Oh, I see.
So I had to wait till I'd finished, and as soon as I finished, I was
you went straight
into the next class. So I did Upledger level 1 and 2.
What's it called?
So the Upledger Institute is one branch of craniosacral therapy.
I see.
A more biomechanical approach. But I'd read this book that happened to be talking about biodynamic craniosacral therapy before I went. And it was like, well, they're not talking about mid-tide and long-tide, what's going on? But I didn't kind of realise that there was another branch.
I see.
Which I discovered soon after, and then I read this really big book, and I was thinking, I need proper education in this. So I found the timing's perfect, because then I found that Franklin Sills, who's one of the leaders in the biodynamic craniosacral field, was coming to New York to do a training. So
where's he based?
He's from New York, but he's based in England. So
I
know, we're the wrong way round. I was in England, I could have gone, but because apparently he has a lovely school in the beautiful part of the country.
Oh well.
Oh well, I'll get there one day. So and that is a 2.5 year training.
Oh man.
Yeah, so
a lot of training.
It was a long, life-changing training.
Yeah.
With
And how so? How was it life-changing?
Because, you know, you're working through your own stuff. And stuff comes up when you're getting these treatments.
Absolutely.
You know, you're exchanging a couple of times a day for 5 days with the other students. But the connection you make with them is just so amazing, because you're together for so long. There's about 30 people in the class, and we're together for a long time.
Well, can you describe exactly what biodynamic craniosacral is?
Yeah, sure. So from the moment of conception, there's an ignition of energy, of life force, and there's like a blueprint laid down in those first couple of cells of the perfect human form. And then every time the cell separates, that blueprint is replicated like a hologram. So every cell knows exactly what it's supposed to do, and then with this blueprint there's an energy, a force, a life force that shapes and forms and instructs the tissue to form a baby. And then we grow, and this potency, this energy is constantly at work through every condition we meet, whether it's emotion, physical. We meet things and they're not necessarily bad, because we need to be stressed to become stronger and form our personalities and learn life and how to cope. But sometimes when they're overwhelming, this potency, this health will kind of shrink that down, and so you can function around it, so you don't really notice it. So it kind of holds it in this point of stillness, that area. So we kind of collect these all around our body and energy field around us as we're progressing through life. So in a session, the first part is to help the person settle. Like, usually people come in and they're racing and everything's busy, so you know, we really have to let everything settle and calm down. So we do a little bit around that, and then I put my hands on the person, usually at their feet to start with, and just start to listen to the story the body's telling me. And you know, it can be pulling this way and that way, and we're just, you know, I just wait for everything to settle, and then eventually, you know, my wide awareness, then one of these areas starts to rise up and everything else kind of fades away, and I'm like, oh, okay, I need to come over to this part of the body. And it's as if the tissues are like, I'm over here, and it's like kind of pulling, and there's a center to it that's still, and everything's organizing around it. And then once it finds this balanced state of tension around this point, it can just disperse. It can release. And then, you know, the whole body kind of goes, oh, thanks. And then that potency that was holding it down is now available to the rest of the body for normal functioning. So that's one aspect of it.
I love the way you describe that. That's really beautifully said.
So, you know, another aspect is in the stillness that we're suspended in. And sometimes the body just says, okay. And it just, I'm like, I'm not feeling anything. And it's not that I'm not feeling anything, I'm feeling this divine stillness that is so peaceful. And that's the peace and the space that we all come from. That's where where that ignition happens. It's
still in us.
It's still in us. So we're suspended in that. And when we can drop back and we settle into that, then immense healing can take place. It's like hitting the reset button on your computer. Like, you know, when everything starts going wrong or the phone starts going wrong, you turn it off. Turn it off, wait 5 seconds, turn it back on again. It just kind of clears the caches. So it's like a really lovely reset for the body. And so, you know, you just follow the inherent treatment plan that unfolds.
So are you able to help that to get to that point?
I can actually, you know, settle, and I can intend, like, or suggest to the system that as you know, because I'm listening to this tide, we have this tide in our body, so I'm listening to the tide, and for some people they might be, tide comes in and then they're kind of stuck there, and then there's this, it doesn't go out very well, and then the tide comes in and they're kind of stuck. So
you want a more natural rhythm.
Yeah, so I can actually encourage and say, how about we just take that a little deeper, that exhalation tide, and just kind of, with my own system, like be the guide to encourage that.
Facilitate what they need.
But without doing anything. So I'm not trying to change anything or fix anything.
Right.
And it's all at the client's pace. Like, they can really, they're in charge.
Well, it's really their body that's doing the healing.
It's
right?
their body doing the healing, completely.
But you're setting it up so where it's available to them? Is that how you would?
Yeah, and just helping them settle under the daily life of stress and and a lot of people just really have trouble coming into their own body. So it can take several sessions sometimes, and sometimes it's a lot of talking because people need to be heard.
Well, that's important, certainly.
So
it's a combination of things, and
it's
you
a lot.
have all these modalities available to you.
Yeah.
Like we said at the beginning, you can determine which would be best at a given moment for that client.
I'm getting more and more people coming in now saying, what do you think I need? And I'm getting really good at determining what that is. You know, my intuition is getting stronger, so
that's
it's
super.
good. Yeah.
That's awesome. And you recently moved to Weston.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. So I have my own treatment room
your own
there,
studio,
renovated a space, and it's the nicest place I've ever worked. I'm so grateful every time I walk in there.
Yeah.
Just to be in this space, and everyone notices the energy when they come in, from a room that was a storage room to suddenly it's a massage room. But
we did. I've seen the photographs, but I'm looking forward to seeing it in person soon.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, that sounds great. So the other thing that you're involved in, and you have been, it sounds like, from the get-go, really, is the Shangzhen.
Yes.
Is that how you pronounce it?
It's exactly how you pronounce it. Well done.
Well, you say it the way you say it.
Shangzhen.
Shangzhen.
Shangzhen, meditation.
Meditation.
Yeah.
So I've seen a little bit of that. So can you describe what it is?
Sure. So Shangzhen actually means sacred most highest truth, which is unconditional love. So in our busy lives, we've forgotten to look within. We're looking outside for everything. And this practice is very powerful self-healing practice. So it's kind of on its own with its so like Qigong, the physical movements, relax the body, loosen the joints, strengthen the body, because we're cultivating qi, we're moving qi, so we're really working on relaxing the body to open the body so that we can have this healthy exchange of qi with the universe, because the qi in the universe is perfectly balanced, and we're kind of a little bit messed up inside. So anything from stress and tension can cause like blockages in the way the energy moves. And it's like a river when, you have a big log stuck in there, and then the twigs build up, and the leaves, and then the water kind of becomes stagnant. So we want to just get that clear. So we have the movement, and in the movement, every move, this is what I teach in class, has an effort and a relax. So it's like the tides in craniosacral. It's like everything in nature, the universal energy, there's the effort, which we need, and then there's the letting go, the rest. And we have to balance the effort with the same amount of rest for ourselves, however that is. Whether it's not just sitting around, it's doing things we enjoy. So doing the movements, it helps train the body to in this effort and relaxation. And it really works well for the nervous system. So the same with craniosacral. In the nervous system, we get stuck in action, and we get stuck in being on high alert all the time, because we're hardwired to look out for danger. Back from olden days when we lived in caves, and that was a good thing. But now it's an Achilles heel, because we're constantly being bombarded with news and life stresses and social media. Everything going on is just happening so fast that we're constantly on this lookout, this high alert.
It does not serve us well.
Right, so our nervous systems get stuck in this sympathetic action or alert mode, and our system has forgotten how to switch off. So by training our bodies with these movements, we're switching between the two systems. So we can really help the body
and it teaches
calm
us
down.
how to access that whenever we need it. I mean,
yes, so you start, when I do my practice every day with feeling, not just like, oh, got to do my moves. It's like really allowing yourself to feel it is the key.
Yeah, the intention.
The intention, and making that time for yourself instead of thinking, what have I got to do today? No, go away. I am enjoying connecting to the universe. When we do that in the mornings, or when I do a class, the whole day changes.
Oh, wow.
It just flows, and then things start opening and things start happening. So it took me a long while to really do my own practice.
Yeah, and to be consistent, and that's the key thing.
And that was when I started to understand the power of the practice.
That's great.
Yeah.
So how can people learn this?
Well, I teach.
You said you do teach
I
it.
teach 2 classes a week at the Westport Y at the moment.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right, so it's accessible.
It is, and my teacher, Mark Romano, is at Barefoot Living Arts in Fairfield.
Oh, yes.
So he teaches there, and we're trying to build this sense of community, Shenzhen community, because Shenzhen's a way of life. It's about opening our hearts. That's the third aspect to it.
Okay.
Opening our hearts, remembering who we are, and we build up all these barriers, and we don't lack of trust. And
so important.
Yeah, so it's about connection.
Yes, well, that's perfect, because we're going to have to wrap up.
Yep.
It went so fast, but thank you so much for being on the show, Michelle. I'm really glad that you finally made it.
I know.
And it was really, really interesting, everything you do. So thank you.
Great.
And thank you to our audience for joining us tonight. I hope you enjoyed listening to Michelle Quigley as much as I did, and you can take part in any of the things she has to offer, and we're going to put her information up on the website at the end. On the TV at the end. So thank you again for being here. I'm your host, Katie Augustyn, signing off. See you next time. Good night and blessings. Thank you.